Hey YouTube, what's going on? Black Avenger, aka the Black Azrael, Lee Sanders here of the RCWR Show, coming at you all with some sad breaking news right now. Did not end up going well for WWE Hall of Famer Jim Ross. His wife, Jan, had passed away earlier today. For those of you that check out my podcast regularly, I literally was just on the air less than 24 hours ago, Tuesday night, and I was offering thoughts, prayers, nothing but loving condolences to Jim Ross and his family, and to kind of get you all caught up to speed. Maybe some of you all aren't really aware of what all had went down, just to kind of give you guys a little bit of a timeline recap of what all went down. Kudos to TMZ for really kind of putting that timeline together at 8:55 a.m. Pacific time. Basically, you got to rewind it back to, I believe, Monday night. The Norman Police Department, they had informed TMZ that Jan Ross was driving at about 9:33 p.m. when she was struck from behind by a 2000 Mercury Grand Marquis. This vehicle was being operated by a 17-year-old male. Now, this continues to be a ongoing investigation. There's no other information right now as far as if this young man was possibly intoxicated, what have you, under the influence of some type of drug. None of that type of information has been released just yet. So more on that as it becomes available. And by the way, let me say this. This is in full disclosure. This piece that you're checking out right now, it is not, I repeat, it is not being monetized in any type of way. I am not making money off of this video. I am honestly just coming on here to offer my thoughts, condolences on this. I can definitely relate to the pain that Jim Ross is probably feeling right now. And I'll get to that in a little bit. But just to kind of go back to the timeline here, the officials, as I said, they are continuing to look into this investigation. So, according to WWE legend Jim Ross, he basically said that his wife was hit while she was riding her Vespa and she had suffered multiple skull fractures. And, she did not have a helmet on. So, like, when she hit that pavement, it was pretty much head first, and there was like several fractions. She was being operated on for several hours. She was rushed to a nearby hospital, was said she was in critical condition, underwent surgery. Jim Ross described it at the time as a touch and go situation, saying that she was hanging in there. Also following it up saying, God, this is probably going to be like a really tough day coming up. And one of the last things that he had tweeted was, my wife, John, my little angel, was hit while riding her Vespa and has multiple skull fractures. She's in surgery now. We need a miracle. Well, as we're doing this right now, it's Wednesday night, March 22nd, 2017 at about 10:15 p.m. East Coast time. I got some news that came about within the last 35, maybe 40 minutes, as she had passed away after sustaining what is described now as catastrophic brain injury from that accident. Bear in mind, Ross has been married to John, or he was married to John, since 1993. Jim Ross announced the news on Twitter earlier, saying, a priest gave my wife John her last rites tonight. My little angel is gone. So I can't stress this enough, man. If you were ever a fan of Jim Ross, and I know there's a lot of you all that are definitely fans of the man, maybe even to the point you had the opportunity to see him at a recent wrestling convention, or maybe you had the opportunity to see him do his one-man show. I know he did something over here at DC Improv a couple of years back. I was like that close to going to it, but something came up with my job at the last minute and I couldn't go see it. But if you had the opportunity to interact with him in person, and his life really had touched yours as you were a fan growing up, especially when you think about the whole Attitude Era days and all, and even currently, because I know he's doing some stuff now with the New Japan Pro Wrestling promotion. You definitely, if you haven't done so already, send him your thoughts, send him your prayers all throughout social media. I'm sure he would greatly, greatly appreciate it. I'm sure you could probably send some stuff via his way on his respective website as well. And when I first heard this news, I mean, my mouth just hit the floor. I was just like, wow, I just really was slammed by this. And see, for me, I totally can relate to what Jim is going through right now. As you know, I talked about my ex-wife and my ex-wife of 5 years. I have found out only earlier this year, right around, I want to say maybe mid-January, I want to say, I have found out that about year and a half, 2 years ago, she had passed away, and the circumstances surrounding her death is like it's unknown. Quite honestly, there was a friend of hers that was over her house, and they would do like they would normally do on a Friday night. They'd kick back, have some drinks, and just relax. And when it came to the next day, the friend went to go wake her up. She was unresponsive. He tried doing CPR and all that. Nothing was working. Cops ended up being called. And the way I found out about it was really quite sad because when it was all said and done, um, I hadn't spoken to my ex in a good minute, probably in like about up until I found out she had been deceased. I probably hadn't talked to her in about 2.5 years. And my current girlfriend, soon to be wife, she actually had to sit me down and say, "Look, I've got some very important news to tell you." And the only reason why she shared this news with me was because, it's a long story and I don't want to bore you guys with it. But uh, let me put it to you this way. For some married couples, when they realize things aren't working, they say, okay, you know what? Let's get a divorce. And you would be so lucky if you're able to have a divorce that just ends in such a respectable way where it's like you just keep your stuff, I keep my stuff, let's shake hands and let's be done with it, right? And fortunately for me and my ex-wife, we were able to get to that point, and we ended up for a brief period of time becoming really good friends as a result. And I used to think it was funny, but now that she's passed, I don't think it's funny anymore. But I remember the last conversation I had with her, we had a blow up. I remember she called me up at like 12:30 in the morning telling me how I had forgot her birthday. And she was so mad and she was like, lose my number, don't call me no more. And that was actually like the last time I had spoke with her. And at this point, I was already dating my now girlfriend. And I told her, I'm like, dude, it's like, I'm sorry I forgot your birthday. I got so much shit going on over here. You have like the slightest clue. But to come at me like this, and I'm like in a new relationship right now, and like I'm trying really hard to be your friend. My girl even tried very hard to be our friend. And we actually did get to that point where we all were very cordial. We were very friendly with one another. We would do little conference calls and all that because sometimes I would be picking both of their brains on some stuff. And, we all had got along really well. But when that had went down, it was like, oh, hell no. If you're going to act like that, like bump that. But there honestly was not a day that went by that I honestly didn't like, hey, I hope she's doing okay. I hope she's doing well. So when I found out the news, I was just flabbergasted. I mean, I felt like somebody just went wham, 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 right to my gut. And it was just like, what the fuck, when it was all said and done. So I was definitely really, really, really freaking heartbroken when all that had went down. So I definitely relate to the pain that Jim Ross is going through right now, man. Seriously. So nothing but my thoughts and prayers go out to him, go out to his family. As it's never easy, especially when somebody expires still relatively young. You know what I'm saying? Jan Ross was only 55 years of age, man. So, you hear that and you're like, damn, that's real fucking sad. So definitely get at him on social media. And if you guys aren't connected to him on Twitter, it's very easy to find him. He's very active on there for the most part. You can find him on Twitter at JR SBBQ, kind of like JR's barbecue, JRSBBQ. I definitely want to kind of see what you all are saying with regards to the news. I don't want to just come on here and just offer thoughts. I don't have a problem looking at some of the things that you all are posting right now, but I definitely, as far as what's probably going to be happening in the week to come, Jim Ross has always been like synonymous with the WWE. He's always been linked with the WWE. And I have a strong feeling that when it's all said and done, WWE is probably going to be showing him a lot of love this week, even though Mrs. Jan Ross, maybe she wasn't part of the WWE roster per se. She definitely was somewhat in part of the family for a significant of time, for sure, since Jim Ross was there in the company all those years back, man. So I would imagine they're probably going to do some type of a nod, no video package or anything like that, but I'm quite sure they're going to do some type of a nod during Raw, SmackDown's respective broadcasts for sure. I would imagine maybe even TNA, all wrestling promotions. I would imagine everybody's really going to be coming together and just offering their condolences and all that. And I'm seeing what some of you guys are saying in the chat room right now, man. And Brendan brings up a really good point. He says, after my dad died, I didn't watch wrestling for a little while. When I came back, JR, Vince, and Jerry the King Lawler were announcing, and JR reminded me of my dad in a good way. Let's see what else. I see Dan Bones. That's so fucked up. See a lot of sad faces right now that's going down. Yeah, Dan Bones' wife was involved in a car crash. Yeah, so this kind of really mirrors what I was saying less than 24 hours ago on the show, man, about car crashes and how basically the person that, not the victim, but the person that pretty much caused the car crash, it kind of led to that discussion, that debate that I had talked about very candidly about stricter laws as far as like if you take a life and all that. I don't want to go into that whole spiel right now because I really want for the focus to be on Mr. Jim Ross and his loss. But for those of you that may be a little bit interested in what I have to say, you can actually check out that excerpt. It's over at my good friends over on the Epic Sports channel. It literally had just got uploaded. And it's just like, I was actually about to go to bed. I was getting ready to turn in for the night, watch some news, mellow out. I was just got done doing some mixing. And I got like a little notification because I got like a little news notification app on my desktop here, and something went off and I was like, what's that? And I saw the news that way and I was like, God damn. So yeah, it's definitely pretty sad, crazy week that we've had so far. I mean, just really stop and think about it for a second. I mean, so just to kind of recap so far, Chuck Berry, just all this month for the month of March. And if I'm missing some names, you guys, I'm sure you all let me know in the comment section below or on social media. But like so far, just for this month of March, right? We've lost John Ross. We lost Chuck Berry. We lost Turner Classic Movies, Robert Osborne. I'm sure I'm missing probably one or two more names in there, but they escape my mind right now. So forgive me if I totally blank out. But like this month of March, it just really is like it's a Debbie Downer, man. Seriously, and for this to come about at a period where normally Jim Ross is like really excited for WrestleMania and all that. As who else? Who isn't excited for WrestleMania, right? But usually Jim Ross is like pretty active doing some really cool stuff, little WrestleMania weekend, autograph signings, little one man shows or whatever. He's usually pretty busy this time of year. So, my God, like, I would not blame the guy if he just decided, you know what, I need to take a stop. I gotta take care of me right now. I would not blame him if that's what he wanted to do. I mean, at this point, man, who are we to judge? Take your time, Mr. Jim Ross. Whatever you got to do, you got our thoughts, you got our prayers with you, man. Nothing but love. Do what you got to do, and nothing else matters right now. Honestly, nothing matters right now except for family, getting the funeral arrangements together, and all that. So, that's just my 2 cents on that. But once again, I want to remind you guys, I'm not making any money off of this piece. I sincerely wanted to come on here and just share the news. So if you liked how I covered this, honestly, you can just show the ultimate support. You can just throw a thumbs up. You're more than welcome to subscribe if it's your first time and everything like that. And hopefully, nothing else crazy is going to be going down this week. On a lighter note, I will be coming at you guys about less than 24 hours from now, live here on YouTube with an all new Impact Showdown. We'll be covering the latest fallout from Impact Wrestling as seen on Pop TV this week. Yeah, that was the other name, Brendan. Thanks for that. Richard Hatch from Battlestar Galactica. And let's not also forget earlier today, the guy that was the host and somewhat creator of The Gong Show and a couple of other shows, he died. He was in his 80s too, if I'm not mistaken. So he had passed away earlier today. Yeah, this month is just shaping up like, wow, that person actually died. Wow, that sucks. So yeah, we'll try to liven up the mood for you guys. I'm really hoping though nothing crazy goes down for the rest of this week, man. So y'all keep the interactions going. Post your comments down below. All right, guys. And that's going to do it. I'm going to go ahead and shut this down. Till next go round, wishing all y'all to be safe. Most importantly, be kind to one another. See you next go round. Everybody do take care.